faucet. It was not, I don't know what it was. It was a flying saucer or what it was. It wasn't an airplane. It was not an airplane. It was down awfully low.
You're listening to Pursuit of the Paranormal podcast with your hosts, Ash Ellis and Greg Tomlinson.
Hey Ash, how are you doing?
Very well, Greg. How you doing? How's your leg recovery going?
Yep, not too bad. Two down, none to go. So we're all good. We are all good. So I've got 5 weeks off work left.
Another one. Another.
Yeah. So, and it's already been 6 weeks. So, yeah.
Are they paying you for all of it?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I've got to go back after 5 weeks rather than 6 weeks because we're on out sick pay. So I have to go back whether I want to or not. I ain't got time to go back to work, to be fair. So if anybody from work is listening to this, I'm really sorry, but I haven't got time to come back and work full time. I'm too busy. How have you been?
Very well, very well. Looking forward to the next week.
Yes.
We've got some interesting
trips
coming up.
That all came about quite weirdly last night, didn't it? On the we're recording this on Friday, and on Thursday night, so yesterday, we were doing a live on TikTok. I don't know what you call it, just a live. Yeah, on TikTok, with some haunted dolls, and then all of a sudden we've been invited to the King's Head in Chester, my haunted hotel, for a night out. So we're off there next Wednesday night.
We are. We'll do some TikTok lives from the haunted hotel as well.
Yeah. So last time we were at my haunted hotel, Ash, we had some pretty amazing experiences, especially in the brothel area with the big room, where we had. We've got the GoPro footage somewhere. I don't know if you must have it.
Yeah, I've got it.
Where we're sat at the table, like in the sort of a triangular position across the massive table, and all of a sudden the GoPro gets whacked from underneath under the table, and the table actually moves, which is pretty phenomenal. We had some interesting experiences.
Loads happened that night.
We did.
I've been twice more, and nothing has happened.
Okay.
So it's been gutting. So I'm hoping this time. Now you're back there with me, hoping that brings out the spirits again. So that was such an eventful night. It was every room we went in, there was stuff happening. We had all these captures on the CCTV from the actual hotel, as well as our cameras and stuff. That was
knocking at the door,
non-stop action, like pretty much for 5 hours. So hopefully we'll get similar on Wednesday.
Yeah, I hope so. So tonight we are joined by Laura and Ian from Haunted Echoes Ltd, a paranormal events team from the north of the UK, which for me currently is now not that far north because I'm turning into a northerner. So welcome along, Laura.
Hi, thank you for having me.
How are you today?
I'm good, thank you. How are you two?
Yeah, good.
Very well.
Good. Yeah, very good. Very good. We're just waiting for Ian to join us. I know he will be joining us throughout the episode, hopefully. Absolutely. So, Haunted Echoes. So you guys are based in the Blackburn area of the UK.
Yep.
Which, to me, I still don't really know where that is. But
up north.
Anything above Birmingham is north to me.
Yeah.
And then I lose where I am. So how long have you been going as a team?
As Haunted Echoes, we've been going about 1.5 years now. Before that, we've all had other teams, been involved with different companies along the way. Always had a massive interest in the paranormal from being a child, and it all seemed to be like a natural progression. That kind of, you watch the shows, you do the ghost hunting, might as well do this myself and make my own company. It just seems to be something you naturally kind of fall into.
So you touched on that you had experiences from a young age. What sort of things happened, and what sort of led you to I'm assuming we're talking about Most Haunted and stuff like that, because I think we all grew up on Most Haunted,
Yeah.
and got us in there. But yeah, so where did it start for you?
Oh, from being very, very young, growing up, the house that we lived in, there were always something. There was always something that it's the quintessential, the bump in the night kind of thing. There'd be doors shutting, there'd be a picture fell off a wall, there'd be just something happened all the time. It'd be the thing of like going to the kitchen door, the cupboard doors are open, and it's like there were only myself and my parents. Well, I didn't do it, they didn't do it. There's no one else. And then it became normal. It was normal. It was something I was used to. So I thought personally, that was normal, and that's something that happened to everyone. It was only
How old were you at that point? How
oh,
old were you at that point?
I must be about 6, 7. It it was just routine. Where it's kind of like, well, my dad was a believer, but my mum wasn't. It kind of like we used to see things. Say, my dad saw a woman in the house one time, and obviously there was only 3 of us. And I said to him, "Did you see?" Yeah, yeah, okay, I saw that. And he's like, Shh, don't say anything to your mum. Right, okay, that's fine. It was normal. It was just how it was. So when you start watching the programs and you think, okay, well that's paranormal. So that's not normal. So what we've been experiencing isn't normal. So what is it?
So you say it was just the 3 of you. What um did you confide in any friends? Because obviously you said it was like a normal thing. Was it something that you spoke to friends about in like the playground, that kind of thing?
No, it was just something that I spoke to my dad about. Like I say, it was, did you see that? Did you hear that? And it's like, I heard that, and it was just a regular thing that happened all the time. Um, Smells. We used to get like cigar smoke and the smell of toast. For some reason, it always used to be every night at this certain time. The smell of toast, strangely, and it would kind of, as soon as it had come, it had gone again. Very strange, very weird. Um, I've noted there's been numerous people lived in the same house since we've been gone from there. Obviously, I've left a long time ago, but no one seems to stay in that house very long, which is
So
strange.
was it just in that house, or was any experiences kind of come with you in other places where you've lived?
Strange, strangely, it was other places as well. Like, I don't know. I think from that point, I started seeking out the different, the weird, the not usual kind of thing. So different places that you went to, and I started like looking for unusual, and then I started seeing things myself, like from growing up. Well, yeah, growing up, being a teenager, then obviously having my own family and everything, and we go places, go for days out, and start seeing things as we went to different places. I took my family to a castle one time. Kids are off running round. There's just me and my husband, and there's a woman in black just walking up the staircase, this stone staircase, broad daylight, and it's like those stairs. There's half of them missing. Do you know what I mean? It's just stays that like it stays that itch that little bit more. Need to know more. The more you see, the more you want.
So you mentioned that you were talking to your dad about it when you were younger. What kind of things was he telling you about it? Because obviously he must have known that wasn't normal, in inverted commas. Um, but to you it was. What kind of things was he saying? What did he try and sort of discuss with you what it was, or did it was sort of made normal? Or
Um, Example. We had a family dog growing up. Unfortunately, he passed away. which was very, very sad. I was very upset. I must have been 10 at this point. He'd been gone and everything about a week, 2 weeks, and he used to have a thing of just snuffling at the door. You could hear him, and even for weeks after, we could hear him snuffling. And my dad would say, "Have you heard him?" "Yeah, but it's not possible." And he kind of like, I don't know if he was kind of pushing me to find out a little bit more, or maybe confiding that we were experiencing the same things. Just very strange.
So about your family, kind of your family, as you've obviously moved around and lived in different places, and you mentioned the woman in the castle. Does other stuff happen with your family that they've seen? Is it something that you talk about with like your immediate family?
Yeah, it is. Obviously, with working in different companies and having my own companies and everything, my children have been around it since they've been born. It's normal in my house. We talk about paranormal. We remove that fear and that it's scary and it's something you don't talk about. We make it normal and we talk about things. My daughter, my eldest daughter, she's only 10 and she's experienced things and she's told us things. There's so much. Like, my mother-in-law passed away a few years ago, really upset and everything. And one night she came to us, she came running down the stairs, her and her cousins, and she just said, "We've just seen Nana." Nana's just appeared in the doorway because all the kids were over, all the family was round, all the adults were downstairs, all talking like you do, all the kids upstairs playing in the bedrooms. They all came flying down, floods of tears. So we separated them off. What's happened? We thought there's been some kind of big argument or they've been fighting. Separated them off and they all told the same story, that they've seen Nana. But it's not something that my kids find scary. In fact, they all want to go ghost hunting.
It's
they
funny
all want
to
to
say
join
that.
me. And it's like, you're a little bit too young yet.
It's funny to say that. So, so I'm staying with Sarah and her kids. They picked up like a spirit box chat thing that Phoneticon we got, and it reels off the words. And one of the first words that came through was the word Adam. So they'll come in one afternoon from school, and we've got these haunted dolls out, and they go, "Can we go and get Adam? Can we go and get Adam?" And they call it Adam, and they're there. I sent a picture to you, Ash, didn't I? And the little girl, she's got the dowsing rods out. We're doing like questioning with the dowsing rods. They've got the little spirit box thing. It freaks them out, bless them. They won't go upstairs on their own afterwards, but they're massively excited about it. And they're like, "Yeah, I want to go. Can we go somewhere?"
That's brilliant.
So it's good to hear. So when you said about it being normal, as it were, in this house, it's normal.
Yeah.
So I've got a paranormal background. Sarah's got a massive paranormal background. So we kind of we discuss it and we watch programs and we watch all the like YouTube stuff. So yeah. I get what you're saying about the whole just sort of making it normal now, and I think the kids they do find it fascinating. When I was a kid, it used to freak me out, something chronic, and I remember watching a horror film when I was little, and I couldn't sleep properly for months, and the whole thought of ghosts used to frighten me. Really did frighten me. And as I've got older, I've obviously realised that they're real, and it freaks me out even more potentially. But you have a more educated view of it when you're a bit older. So when you said about the normality of it and your kids are getting into it, that's really cool. What did they make of the fact that they saw their nan in the doorway?
I think once they'd had that initial kind of like, a gasp moment, actually, they took my torches out my kit. My kit's literally all in a bag. They got my torches and they were off. They're gone. And it's kind of like, we need to find more. And I'm like, hang on a minute, I need those. So it's like my K2s are gone, my cat balls are gone, and my torches are gone. I'm like, yeah, I need them back. They do that regularly, though. They kind of turn all the lights out in the house. I've got 4 kids, but there's only 3 that's old enough to do this. They do take my torches off and they do take my kit off, and they go and investigate, which I absolutely love.
So when did you kind of make that step to kind of investigate, from having that interest and kind of experiences to kind of doing investigations, which obviously then led on to Haunted Echoes and the other groups you've done? What made you want to sort of be part of the investigation side of things?
I went on a couple of ghost hunts with various companies. I was watching what they did, and some of it just didn't feel right to myself, and I thought, I can do this, but I can do this better. I can put my touch on things. I can take that drama away. You don't need all the screaming, you don't need the shouting. It's just, let's do things properly, which is what Haunted Echoes is. It's an honest, down to earth company. Let's just remove the Hollywood from things.
So kind of talk us through a typical Haunted Echoes night, kind of types of things you do and that with the guests.
Okay. If we have guests, well, usually we'll land at a location, say around 7:30. We'll get in, take our kit in, get everything set up. Then I'll encourage the team to go out and investigate. Go and have a look round. Go and familiarise yourself. I'll put my teeth back in with the area. Know where you're going, and just feel comfortable. It's important to me that my team feel comfortable with where they are. I don't want them to be nervous. I want them to enjoy the night, and then get to 9:15, start letting guests in, do a welcome. I like to start with a seance. I love the Victorian kind of, take it all the way back to where it all began. I love the Victorian seance. So I'll get everyone in a circle, break that ice, because it's deathly silence. It's like being in a doctor's surgery. Nobody speaks at first. So I'll get sick of hearing the sound of my own voice. And it's kind of like, right, come on, let's throw a couple of jokes in there. And everyone starts chuckling away. Right, okay. And then we'll start having things happening. We'll place cat balls, K2s, REM pods. Just place a few bits of kit out while everyone gets comfortable. And then things start happening. Then we'll break them off into, say, 2 groups, 3 groups, depending on where we are. We're not a company that packs places out. We like the smaller, more intimate. We like people to feel comfortable and enjoy your night. So I will never, ever let 50, 60, 70 people on an event. I prefer cap it at 20, 15, 20. And we'll just go with the flow and listen to what people want to do and read the room, really. If the spirits want to communicate, brilliant. We'll do a Ouija board sessions. We'll do watch and wait, asking out, things like that. We'll just go with whatever they want to do, really. And then if we've got time at the end, then we'll do free time. So people can go off and investigate, take our kit, and go and do what you want to do. Obviously, the team will be around if you need us, but most of the time they're just that excited to go off without team. And then all too soon, it's time to go home.
So, I imagine that you have some people that come to investigations for the first time going on any kind of paranormal investigation, and you mentioned that you take the Hollywood out of it, because I know I went to a house in Pontefract, 30s Drive. There was a young couple there. They'd obviously seen Most Haunted from 30s Drive. There was conversations after that about whether or not what Most Haunted do was real at that point. But I think there's an expectation. When I say to friends that I'm going on a paranormal investigation, they assume that I'm going to be flung against a wall, that, I don't know, something's going to like pin me up against a wall and try and kill me, and things flying around like they do in a lot of the films. So you mentioned doing the seance right at the start to take it all the way back. What other sort of stuff do you do to sort of remove that Hollywood stigma, or is that what people are expecting when they come for the first time?
I think it's what they're expecting. When they first come in and we have the welcome and the hello and everything, we offer them a brew and we have a bit of a chat. Kind of, we get rid of them expectations straight away. I say, we have not ordered Casper to pop out the floor at 10 o'clock, shake your hand and give you an autograph. That won't happen. So whatever you're expecting or whatever you're fearing is probably way beyond what's going to happen. I said, once it's happened, once you get activity, once it's happening, you it happens, you blink, you try to logically explain it in your head, and it's over. It's gone. There's nothing going to fling you against a wall. There is nothing going to drag you upstairs backwards. That is all Hollywood. So I try to get rid of that from the off, just in case anyone is expecting that to happen. It kind of stamp it on the head. It's like like I say, we're very down to earth. We're quite chill. So it's just get rid of that from straight away. You're not waiting for it to happen. So whatever you do get, I do explain to people, like, we cannot force things to happen, but we will try our best to encourage the spirits to interact with us through various methods. Like I said, we've been in the paranormal for a number of years. So you pick up things over those years that will help them or encourage the spirits to come forward.
Because I think there is a fear when I when I went on my first paranormal investigation, I went to Warwick Castle years and years ago on like a paranormal investigation. I was petrified right up to the moment, and then as soon as we started, everything was quite cool. It didn't feel as scary as I was expecting it to be, and I think, like you say, because Casper didn't come out of the floor, or nearly headless Nick or whatever come flying around and haunting me. But there are times when stuff happens that you just cannot explain, and I think that's the kind of thing that can hook you on and go, here's a little taste of what it all could be. So I think my question now will be, what piece, or you mentioned that you do stuff that encourages spirits. What experiments or what things do you do on a night do you feel that give you the best sort of evidence? I asked this on lives when I go on TikTok lives as the podcast. People are doing the lives on investigations, and that's always a question that I like to ask: is what piece of equipment, what do you do that gives you the best evidence?
I like, as I've touched on before, I do enjoy the Victorian seances, and I do feel for us that kind of is the basis of the night, and it does seem to encourage spiritual activity. It is that getting people to focus. You get the room at a certain energy level. It's almost palpable at times where you can feel the energy in the room, and we do an experiment as well. Sorry, I'm just going to come for you. Do an experiment where instead of standing around facing forward, doing a seance, holding hands, turn the other way. Turn the other way where you're facing outwards, so you feel that vulnerability. Even though you're in a room full of people, so there could be, I don't know, 6 people in the room with you, but you've got a certain amount of vulnerability. I was at Keighley Underground one night, my first trip there, so I was a little bit nervous, didn't know quite what to expect, so we went into this seance. There was, I think, 5 of us, and the person that was there encouraged us. It was another team, encouraged us to face the other way, and I felt that vulnerability, and I thought, I really like this, because I don't realise that there is other people there. We got this massive kind of rush of air out of nowhere. This massive rush of air came in the room. I opened my eyes and there was just like a black figure that came, almost like a sandstorm, I want to say, but black. Came flying into the room. At that point, I don't know why, but I unprofessional. I screamed my head off. Everyone kind of jumped 6 foot up in air, and we broke the circle, and then it was gone. And I'm like, damn it! I want that to happen again. What was that? He's like, why'd you scream? Idiot.
But it is a reaction. It can be a natural reaction, and until you're in that sort of situation, it's very difficult to know how anybody's gonna react. I mean, we do the Estes method, don't we, Ash? Where we do that a lot. And we swear by that. Mm-hmm. We've had some amazing results on that. Is that some of the experiments that you would do on your nights?
We love the Estes method. Absolutely love it. We did it. We do it every time, but again, Keithley, there was only a team there, so there's only 5, 6 of us. I think we're up, not maybe 7. We might have all been there. End of the night, kind of things are settling down a little bit, and we thought, well, let's do the Estes method. So we went in the base room, in the big, massive room, put one person at one end, we on a chair, speakers on, the headphones on, the blindfold on, and the things that were popping out, it was just incredible. Kind of, we got, I think it was one of the other team members, a female doing it, and then we got a male doing it, and it was weird, the similarities and yet the variance between the females heard male voices and males heard female voices. But some of the names and the answers that were popping out was just incredible. We've done it at Mill Street as well, down in the basement, Mill Street Barracks. Mm-hmm. I absolutely love that place. In the basement is creepy as hell. Won't go down there myself. Absolutely not. I don't care what's down there. It's staying down there. Any kit left behind, that's it. It belongs to the spirits. We put a guest. There's like a little room. As you go down the stairs, there's like this little tiny porky room, and then there's a window in it, and it leads into another room. Sounds strange. They put a window in the bit. I don't know why. And he got completely, utterly overwhelmed. There was something that he felt was so threatening that was coming through on the Estes method. And we did pull him out because he got really, really upset. But part of me was like, oh, I wonder what happens if we carry on. I wonder what else we're going to get. And it just sparks that thing.
It's very addictive.
Oh, yeah.
I think the paranormal.
Love it.
What do you think the paranormal is? So I know that's a bit of a strange question, but do you think the spirits are, or the things interacting with us, are they spirits of dead people, spirits of, I don't know, some kind of weird entity? What do you think they may be? Do you think they are spirits of dead people?
I do. Mm-hmm. I am also a massive believer in stone tape theory. So yeah. I do believe kind of there was a building that we used to go to in Accrington, in Lancashire, and certain time of the year during COVID, we had a webcam, so staff were just listening in every so often, just keeping an eye on the building, and we started hearing this shouting. So we got in touch with management, and they said, "Well, no, there's no one in the building." And we started hearing bits and bobs more, and certain shadows flying around, and so much so people were nipping in just to make sure it were empty. And look back over history, and there was a riot in Accrington around that area in 1700 and something, but it was almost like history was replaying itself. The shouting, it would be the riot, and just kind of linking bits together. But going back to your question, I do believe that there is spirits of dead people if they're going about the business, or you do get intelligent ones who will interact with what you're asking. Like, go and touch that ball, the ball lights up, things like that. I just find it fascinating.
So what's kind of the most, or I don't want to say exciting, but most kind of active kind of night that you had with your group? Kind of what's like sort of tell us about that. Anyone in particular?
Right. About 4 years ago, I used to work for Most Haunted. We went to Shrewsbury Prison, and my first time there. I've been dying to go there forever. Absolutely loved it. So, like an idiot, I went into A Wing, which is this massive. I don't know if you've ever been. It's 4 floors. I think you've got 100 cells on each floor. I went in like Billy Big Bollocks. Went in and thought, right, come on, I'm here now. Come and do something. Blah 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 blah. And I got a cell door slamming, and it was like do 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 do, and I'm like, I'm hot tailing it out of here, and I'm going to come back with my team when I'm feeling a little bit braver. And I did, and I went back there numerous times after that. I absolutely love that place. I love everywhere I go, but that is like one of my favourites. I like prisons, I like courthouses, I like police stations, I like correctional kind of. The energy is going to be more heightened. You think all that kind of aggression, that worry, that fear, it's got to go somewhere.
Yeah, that's you're the second person who's mentioned Shrewsbury Prison. Sarah and the girls had been there a couple of weeks ago and had some weird entity or some voice appear on camera. So yeah, Ash, we need to get there after the hotel.
It just so happens that we're going there in 31st of May. That the team are there again. So first place I'm going is A-Wing.
Yeah.
Unfinished business.
Yeah. Have you been to any other prisons? Investigated any other prison?
Well, we're trying to get another prison later this year. We're trying to get shipped to Mallet, but I've been to Bolton Police Station, which is so active. It's still got the courthouse there, all the cells are there, and we used to have in another company, Accrington Police Station and Courts, which was just creepy as hell. The amount of times like I used to go in, like I say, I used to work for Most Haunted in previous years. And the amount of times I used to go in during the day and go and have to open up, say, for a 12-hour. So you get there for 10:30 at morning, 11 o'clock, and you think it's during the day, it's bright, it's sunny, beautiful day. You put that key in the lock and you turn it and you can hear voices and you can hear heels on towel and you can hear moving around, you can hear doors shutting. It's kind of like, I'm going to wait for other people to come because there's no way. There's no way in hell.
It's an interesting point, actually. I know everybody goes on investigations at night, but do you feel that places are still as active during the day?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think at night time, I think the only reason kind of we base it more around night time is everything's slowed down, there's less people around, electricity's turned off half the time, you haven't got lights on, so you haven't got that kind of normality. If you remove that normality, then your senses start being heightened, so you start listening and feeling things a bit more, and you're more aware of what's going on. It happens all the time. The house that we live in at the moment, with me, my husband and my children, when we first moved in, well, before we moved in here, I used to come over to decorate or to get things ready on my own with 2 of the children. They were only babes in arms, and we used to hear footsteps, and it happened every single time. And even now, it'd be me and my husband at home, and we can hear footsteps in the bedroom above, and it's kind of like we just look at each other like, yeah, okay, fine. It's normal. It happens.
Have you done any outdoor investigations, or what do you think about outdoor ones?
I haven't. I'm dying to. The only thing that puts me off is obviously the elements. I prefer to be in buildings because you can shut that door. There's no one else around you. You know it's secure. You know it's safe. There's no rain. There's no wind that you have to kind of like, rule out. from certain noises, and there's no voices or anything. It's just you and the spirits. But yeah, I'd love to do or try something outdoors, maybe a forest or something.
Definitely recommend a forest. Yeah, done a couple of forests, and the elements was a particular pain in the backside when we went to Cannock. We got absolutely drenched. But yeah, outside, you talked about vulnerability, about when you're facing out doing the seance. We were in this pitch black particular area, and everything went deadly silent when the lights went down, when the sun went down, all the birds stopped. It was like we'd been transported into this sort of weird dead zone, and it was freaky. And we were doing the Estes method. Ash was like, somebody was having a conversation with Ash, or with somebody else in Ash's ears, the name of a person. I asked a question and said, who can you name one of the group? There was only 3 of us. And as the person walked past Ash, he said, like, Abby. And it just got darker from there, and it got to a point.
That was the name of the person.
Wow.
Yeah, that was the name of the person. And it got really weird and dark, and it was just like, not really feeling you. Obviously, you would be able to explain it better, but we got to a point and we all agreed that was the moment we had to sort of pack up and go. And we sort of, it was horrible.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's kind of like, because like when you're in like the forest on these places and it's stupid o'clock in the morning and it's pitch black, you kind of like think, if I come across something, I'd rather it not be a human, because they're gonna be up to no good at this time in the morning. This in this place is like, if I hear someone coming towards me, I'm hoping it's a ghost or something, because or a Bigfoot or something, because if it's a human, he's probably up to no good, and I could be at risk here.
Yeah.
Very good point.
Weird feeling.
So we were in Delamere Forest, weren't we? Doing UFO. Yeah. So you know Danny Moss.
Yeah.
So we went out with Danny Moss and recorded an episode of one of his programs, the Paranormal Investigator at Delamere Forest, where we introduced him to sort of some UFO, the UFO side of the paranormal, didn't we, Ash? With Ash and one of Ash's team from UFO Identified, Natalie, and we spent the evening and night in Delamere Forest, and that was pretty freaky in there. Just, it was like, how many was there? There was us 3, Danny and his girlfriend.
24 of us.
Jeez.
Yeah, it was. I was freaking out at one point. I was looking through, and I'm not even scared to admit it, but I looked through this one of the part of the woods where we were. We were in this wooded area, and it's this massive light. I was looking around, and I said, "Oh my God, over there, there's a massive light in the woods," and I was starting to freak out. And Danny Moss was like, "That's the moon, mate," and the moon was really low in. But you can see how people can freak out when you've got that vulnerability. And we were massively vulnerable. We just literally had our camping chairs in the middle of the forest, talking to like spirits and calling on UFOs to come and interact with us. And and like I said, I'd rather it be a Bigfoot or a ghost or some kind of wild animal than a human at like 2 o'clock in the morning in the middle of a forest.
Yes.
Because chances are it's not going to be
I've actually just remembered.
Great interaction.
Actually just remembered. Did Pendle Hill? Not last year, year before. There were me, myself, and one of the other team members called Martin. With a group of friends, kind of thought, we're going to go up Pendle Hill, why not? What's the worst that can happen? Famous last words, isn't it? So kind of went up Pendle Hill, up Barley, I think it's called. Up the steep hill. It's like almost vertical. It's ridiculous. Got up to the top of this hill and kind of got the Ouija board out, got everyone round, and we started doing a Ouija board. And we thought, it's a bit quiet, we'll carry on walking. Got a bit further, and I said to others, can you see something moving in the trees? And I'm thinking it could be sheep, might be like, might be animals around here. I don't know. Maybe. Got everyone round in a seance, and we started seeing more things moving. Like you say, human. You think, I don't really want a human walking around because I don't know what they're expecting to do. Some dodgy people. And everyone started seeing kind of shapes moving, but it weren't just like one place, it was here, there, and everywhere. And it looked like a figure just walking around, but just impossibly moving from one side of the woods to the other side of the woods, where it would take, I don't know, half an hour, 3/4 of an hour. It appearing in seconds in various places. Very strange. We got to the top where the sculpture trail is and kind of split off into two groups, and someone got a voice recorder out, and they kind of did, anyone here, blah blah blah, talking away into it. And I just said, I don't know why I said it, I said, she's coming. I just felt there's a female walking up the hill kind of thing towards us. And again, this figure just kind of shot in the tree line, and they got a girl's voice. I can't even remember what she said. She said something on the voice recorder, and this was me, literally just me. I think there were 10 blokes, 12 blokes. I wasn't anywhere close to the voice recorder, so it couldn't have been me. I didn't say anything, and the rest were men. So this young girl's voice talking into the voice recorder, which everyone kind of at that moment went, "That's enough. We're going home. We're done."
Wow. Like, yeah, I suppose with outdoor, like saying as well, there's a lot of wildlife, and the creepiest moment with me is at Rendlesham Forest down in Suffolk. And we'd parked up in the lay-by thing. We were walking into the middle of the forest, about a mile in, took about 20 minutes to walk there. All of a sudden, this almighty noise. I was like, what the absolutely, it's like 1 o'clock in the morning or whatever. I'm like, what the hell is this? It was a pig farm nearby, and it was all like pigs squealing, but like 100 of them all at once. So
Oh my
it's like,
God.
the creepiest noise, but you're not expecting it. It's
Yeah.
quite quiet. All of a sudden, this cacophony of noises came. I was like, what the hell is that? Ended up being a pig farm type. One, thank God, because I don't know what the hell this noise was coming towards us.
Oh my God.
But yeah, there's something about, I think it's like like a human innate fear of forests and stuff. I think going back to the olden days when we'd be hunted by creatures in the forest, like bears and tigers and stuff. Back obviously tens of thousands of millions of years, however long ago it would have been. A kind of innate fear of forest, because that's where when we had apex predators above us, they were in the forest and stuff. So I think that's still biologically ingrained into us, like as kind of a survivalist evolution thing. So that vulnerability is definitely there, especially at night. Like I say, when it's quiet, everything just goes quiet. Or you get points where, like Greg said, so there's all these bird noises and stuff like you get, and then it just went silent. You're like, why have the animals gone silent? What the hell is happening?
Oh
like you could just hear your own breath, and that was it. It was just like, this is creepy. It's just then this fog came in over this, like through the trees and stuff. This fog is like, okay, I think this is the point where we get out of it, because this doesn't feel right anymore. Like, we all felt it at the same time. It's kind of like the vibe changed. I kind of felt that kind of instinct to run. And we actually hold ourselves from not running, because it's like a narrow path walking back with like drops on either side. And I was at the back. We kind of like just literally couldn't see anything. There's no lights. Just literally shining the torch on the floor to see where your foot's walking next. And it's like, okay, don't run. Just like this, like this fast walking. Not be able to see. Can't see anything either side. I was at the back, and I was like, I had that urge to turn around. I was like, I'm not turning around. I don't want to look what's behind me. It's just head down, torch on the floor, watch the feet in front of me so I don't kick into him, and just walk back to the car as fast as we can. But I love it.
Yeah. There was a really freaky moment, and it was, like you say, not wanting to run but not running was the weirdest. And then where we were there'd been reports of like black-eyed children, portals, all this kind of stuff. So we just I was looking around going, I hope I don't see a set of eyes looking out at me,
Oh, a
otherwise
couple of
I am
kids,
running.
God.
couple
But
of kids stood in front of us, like, oh, Jesus Christ.
yeah, 1 o'clock in the morning in Cannock Chase is not where you want to be seeing kids.
No.
Interesting. I just want to go back to where you said about like the Victorian stuff and the seances. Is something that fascinates me, and the fact that removing technology as well. I know
Hmm.
we use a lot of technology now to sort of try and further our sort of exploration of the paranormal. But you look back, say, 100 years ago, 200 years ago, when Victorian parlour games and such like and seances were a big thing, and people embraced talking to the dead. That was part of their entertainment. Obviously, we got Sky TV and all that kind of PlayStations now, which when you speak to some of those and see some of those TV programs, it is like they're all dead. But I just wonder, what do you think? This goes out to both of you, actually. Um, what do you think changed societally that meant we've gone from talking and trying to communicate with the dead as part of our own entertainment to now it being seen as this scary thing that weirdos do? If I say I'm going out ghost hunting, people are like, that's a bit weird. They're not frightened and stuff. Whereas back then it was actually embraced and people would come round and it would be a social gathering. I just wondered what, as we've just been talking about all this stuff, what you think has caused it. Is it Hollywood? Is it Hollywood that's caused this shift in our perception of the paranormal being scary rather than something to sort of embrace?
Me personally, I think so.
Mm.
I think, films like Paranormal Activity,
Mm.
just
Great
movies like
film.
The Exorcist. It's one of those where you watch it to be scared, so you automatically link the paranormal is scary. Me personally, like I say, I like the Victorian side, but various other members of the team like the technology. So we do kind of go together really well. They can prove to me using technology that what we're experiencing is actually happening, and I can tell them, I don't know, I can hear a noise in that corner. They can go to that. So we do work really well together in that way. I think that's what makes us different and unique in the industry, really. That, and I just like seances. um,
That's fair. That's fair.
but I would put it down to Hollywood has taken um, that Victorian normality, because they did fixate on death when they used to do like the death photos and things like that. And they saw it as normal, where we see it as macabre. There we just
I think, yeah, the death photos is a very strange thing that people used to take the photographs of dead people, like their dead relatives, and you can spot them in photographs in the
yeah.
family portrait, and they just kind of just look a little bit different to everybody else. But it was seen as normal, and
Mm,
it's definitely all changed since those. So probably for the best. I mean,
yeah.
I don't really fancy having a dead loved one next to me in a photograph for a few hours while we have to stand there because the cameras are so bad. But what about you, Ash? What do you think has caused?
So I was just trying to think, because while you were talking, I was kind of thinking any kind of big events and stuff that happened maybe in the past 100 years. And obviously, as the turn of the century and the Victorian era ends, then got obviously World War One, and then after that World War Two. So it's like, is it stuff like that where kind of the world has changed for people that obviously had to live through kind of the world wars and stuff and the fear, and obviously loved ones dying and losing all the men in the family to war? and the threat of obviously being invaded and taken over, that's went on for quite a long time. So whether that kind of changed the way people viewed the world, and maybe this is me completely off my head, talking off my head, but like maybe after, say, the Second World War, people maybe got offended by people wanting to try and communicate with the ones that they've lost in war, things like that. Maybe they just don't want to kind of think about that type of thing.
Yeah.
So that's then bred into, obviously, the next couple of generations have been kind of veered away from it. So now it's sort of made a bit of a comeback in the past few decades. So we're kind of doing that full circle thing. Whereas maybe from the past 30 years to now is a bit more accepted than it was. Because more people are more open to it after being forced to be shut off from it for a bit of time. And it was a fringe thing, a outcast thing, where you were seen as the outcast, you were seen as like gothic or whatever, you were into death and things like that. Whereas it was embraced more 150 years ago. So maybe just completely random out of my head in the past 30 seconds is maybe that society changed too much. And obviously the big world events happened that changed everybody's life pretty much.
Cool. Yeah. Just thought I'd check on that. So, Laura, where can people find Haunted Echoes, and where can they find you online?
We are on all the social media. So we are on Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. We are under Haunted Echoes Ltd on all of the above. We've got a few videos on YouTube, as far as I know. We're very active on TikTok and Facebook. You can book our events on Eventbrite. Just type in Haunted Echoes Ltd and we will pop up. We've got 5 events this year so far for people to come and join us. Various places. So we've got, right, I'm trying to think off the top of my head now. We've got Shrewsbury Prison. We have got in the pipeline as well that we're looking for and looking at booking. We do collaborations with different groups as well, so we're always up for that.
Fab. Yeah, we were looking at, was it the old Nick?
Oh yeah, the old Nick. We've got the old Nick. Yep.
Just depends on shifts and stuff like that. But we were talking about that, yeah. So that would be good. Yeah, it's a great time to sort of be in a paranormal world, as it were, because there's lots of active places
definitely
around, and there's some that I've not even heard of, like Bolton. I hadn't heard of, and this is my own ignorance, Shrewsbury Prison. I didn't even know that was a thing. I'm from down south, remember, so everything's up north here, so I'm starting to learn all these different places. But there are lots of locations that appear to be or have some kind of history, and we're very lucky in the UK that the UK's got very rich history of events happening at very sort of social places, i.e. like prisons, hospitals, that kind of thing, pubs.
Definitely. Yeah.
So no, it's been great, and I would like to thank you for your time this evening,
Thank you for
Laura.
having me.
Hopefully we'll get Ian on with us next time.
Absolutely.
I don't know where he, bless him, where he managed to get to, but his name has been with us in spirit. Excuse the pun, if nothing else. But yeah, so we'll put the links out for everything in the Eventbrite and your social stuff.
Thank you
to our listeners. Yeah, and it's been a fascinating conversation, particularly about the vulnerability side. I quite like the thought of the vulnerability side making sort of things a bit more heightened.
Yeah.
So that's something that we should explore, Ash, I think, when we next go out into a forest. Lone vigils in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Cool. Well, thank you very much, Laura.
Thank
you so much.
Really nice to meet you.
Take care. Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks for listening to Pursuit of the Paranormal, title music created by Steve Yarwood and Ambi Infinity. If you like the show, please follow us on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, X, and Instagram. And if you really like the show, please rate and review the show wherever you are listening. It really does help. See you next time, and until then, stay weird.